Alright, what's going on, guys? So in my last video, I did say I was going to be coming out with a tips and tricks / settings video. So if you are practicing kind of knife and you do want to take that to ranked or just get better at pubs, then this is going to be the video for you. We do start this off by going into the settings, but we do talk about the knifes, movement, how to close distance, just overall the good stuff that you are going to need to know. So if you do enjoy this video, make sure to drop me a like, as well as tell me if you enjoy this type of content from me. Okay, so the first thing you're going to want to do is go to the basic tab under settings. You're going to notice that I do keep aim assist on. I completely recommend that. There's no reason to take that off. Anything that will lock onto the opponent and keep you locked on is amazing. I know that sounds a little like hacky, but that's just the aim assist that is in the game. So yeah, I do completely recommend using that. Alright, so the next thing you want to do is turn on quick run from prone. If you don't know what that means, all it does is if you're standing still, laying down, or crouching and you push forward, it's going to start running you off at a decent speed. You know, you're not going to have to stand up. You're just going to have to run, push forward, and you're going to be good to go no matter what position you are in. And that's just a huge bonus, especially for mobility characters like us. We need anything like that we can, so definitely turn that on. Alright, so this is going to be arguably the most important thing on the list, and that is the tap crouch to slide compared to the hold crouch to slide. The least amount of time your finger has to spend on one button, the better. We're going to have to do the most we can do in the shortest period of time. We do not have the range that guns have, snipers have. We don't have the range even shotguns or MSMCs have. So that puts us at a complete disadvantage. So we are going to want to be as fast, nimble, just as mobile as possible. So definitely go ahead and pop that on, as well as turning always sprint to 99. Now, if you don't know what this is, all it does is make sure set default speed 100%, and that means after getting up, after starting the game, after swinging your melee weapon, it will start running at 100% speed as soon as possible. Obviously, we're going to want to turn that on. The only reason I don't have it at 100 is so I can still crouch walk and still crawl as I'm laying down. I don't want to lose out on any opportunities, and I still get a lot of kills like that by being a little fucking weirdo in a corner. So if I put that to 100, every time I moved, it automatically make me start running, and I don't want that. That's frame of view, and if you haven't touched that since the game started, then yours is going to be 60. You're going to want to go ahead and push that up to 75, and if you don't know what that does, it gives you a larger view of the game. So any fight you get into, if your opponent has 60 FOV and you have 75, you're going to see them come around that corner long before they see you, and that is obviously a huge advantage with a knife. I need to take corners. I need to be able to see that opponent before they see me, and that's a lot of the reason we use alert, so definitely crank that up to 75. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and jump over 2 to the right, and you are going to notice that my standard sensitivity is 300, and I don't recommend starting there, but I do recommend getting there. The higher sensitivity that we can get and stay controllable is going to be the most beneficial thing we can do. We don't want to have to move our thumb multiple times to get to one direction or anything, or even turn around. We want to do that all with one thumb movement, so if you can do that with a lower sensitivity than 300, I completely recommend that. Okay, so let me go ahead and quickly explain what acceleration value does. By the way, I don't recommend using this until 300 sensitivity feels slow to you, but I use distance acceleration, so the further my thumb goes, the faster I'll be able to look around in game. There's also speed acceleration, which means the faster your thumb goes, the faster you'll be able to look around in game. So these are all just options you can choose once you're already used to 300 sensitivity, but until then, definitely don't use these. Okay, the last sensitivity we are going to be talking about is firing sensitivity, but that is going to be talked about later on in the video because that pertains so much to movement, and you guys are going to need an example with that. So now that you have your sensitivities and settings all set up, we are going to be moving on into the knives and which ones to use in which situations, or which ones you guys prefer, or whatever you like to use. So if you are on a brand new fresh account, you are going to start the game off by seeing this knife in your inventory. This is the starter knife that everyone gets, and this is a actually super viable weapon to use. I actually used this up till season 2, even when I had a bunch of colorful, even when I had the karambit, I used this weapon. Just because I knew the stat was 10, I knew the range was 10, I knew the fire rate was 10. There was nothing gimmicky about this weapon. You pulled it out and you just used your knife. So if you do have this and you don't have any other knives, don't worry, because this is one of the better ones in the game. So like I said, the karambit has the same stats as every other regular knife in the game, so we are not going to talk too much about that. So we are going to get into the axes. There are currently 2 in the game, and I'm hoping they start to introduce a lot more of these. You know, the ice pick is the one that I use just because I do think it is the best one in the game. Not because of the stats, mainly because of the animation it has when taking it out. It doesn't take up any time to use, so I can throw my tomahawk and just keep running. However, if you didn't have the chance to buy this, and you can get the lava axe, that is a free to play. All you have to do is grind it out in zombies, and that is the second best melee weapon in the game. Now, the bat is something that's really confusing. Okay, so when they brought out the ice pick, it didn't have 15 range on the weapon card, and I'm thinking the bat is similar to this. I did try to do some testing, and it does feel about the same range as 15, as a lava axe and as the ice pick. So I kind of recommend using this weapon. At the same time, the 8 fire rate on this, it absolutely feels a lot slower than the 8 fire rate on the ice pick. I'm not kidding. I wouldn't just say that for the hell of it. It really does feel a lot slower than 8. But if you don't have the lava axe and you just really do want to get a good melee weapon, I can kind of recommend using this. I do not think this is better than the regular knife. Just by the stat card, if they do update this and confirm it has 15 range, then this absolutely will be on par with the ice pick. Okay, so here we are at the final few steps of everything that I can teach you about knifing. So far we have went over settings, we have went over the knife you're going to use, and now we're going over movement. The main movement that I want you guys to learn is how to close distance, whether that's being going around a truck, whether that's being laying down behind something, or even zigzagging like I do. These are few things that you're going to have to learn, as well as learning to time your slide, learning how far that slide will take you, and learning when to knife while sliding. These are all important things that you're going to need to learn if you want to start being proficient at knifing. Alright, and the last thing I want to talk about is the distance and timing of the knife. You are going to have to know the distance you're able to hit and the timing you're able to swing. A lot of the times I will be able to swing and run around a corner and still get that hit because I use an 8 fire rate weapon. These are all things you guys are going to need to know and learn how to do. So I'm sorry if the last few things are a little hard to get used to, but you are going to have to hop into some games and just grind it out and really learn how to do this. But alright, if you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop me a like, and also tell me which tip helped you the most, and I will see you guys in the next video.